The origins of golf are unclear and much debated. However, it is generally accepted that modern golf developed in Scotland from the Middle Ages onwards. The game did not find international popularity until the late 19th century, when it spread into the rest of the United Kingdom and then to the British Empire, and the United Statesa golf-like game is apocryphally recorded as taking place on February 26, 1297, in Loenen-on-de-Vecht, where the Dutch played a game with a stick and leather ball. The winner was whoever hit the ball with the fewest strokes into a target several hundred yards away. Some scholars argue that this game of putting a small ball in a hole in the ground using golf clubs was also played in 17th century Netherlands and that this predates the game in Scotland. There are also other reports of earlier accounts of a golf-like game from continental Europe. A golf-like game is apocryphally recorded as taking place on February 26, 1297 in Loenen-on-de-Vecht, where the Dutch played a game with a stick and leather ball. The winner was whoever hit the ball with the fewest strokes into a target several hundred yards away. Some scholars argue that this game of putting a small ball in a hole in the ground using golf clubs was also played in 17th century Netherlands and that this predates the game in Scotland. There are also other reports of earlier accounts of a golf-like game from continental Europe. In the 1261 Middle Dutch manuscript of the Flemish poet Jacob van Maerlen's book Merlijn Mention is made of a ball game met Ennerkoloen with a kolf, club. This is the earliest known mention in the Dutch language of the game of kolf as played in the Low Countries. In 1360, the Council of Brussels banned the game of kolf. Wijmedelven sold oom 20 cel afdop her overst kleed. He who plays at kolf pays a fine of 20 shillings or his overcoat will be confiscated. In 1387, the regent of the county of Holland, Zeeland and Hainaut, Albrecht of Bavaria, sealed a charter for the city of Briel in which it was forbidden to play any game for money. One of the exceptions to this ordinance was Den Bal Midderkolven Taesland Buten der Vest to play the ball with a club outside the town walls. 2 years later, in 1389, the regent Albrecht offered the citizens of Haarlem a field called De Baan the Course to be used exclusively for playing games, especially kolf, because these were too dangerous within the city walls. A game similar to modern-day golf features in a book of hours from 1540, which has, based on this association, acquired the name of the golf book. It was illustrated by a Flemish artist called Simon Biening. In 1571, the book Bibliodades de Ganch Heilig Schrift Grondelijk en Trouwelijk Verdijd Chet describes the game of kolf played with a bat and sack. In 1597, the crew of Willem Barents played kolf during their stay at Nova Zembla, as recorded by Gerrit de Veer in his diary. Den 3. April wast mooi kleer wieder met een en wind en stil, doen mekten we een kolf to dermee te kolven, also ons lieden, wat radder te mekten, der we allerlei middelen to zochten. Translation. The 3rd of April the weather was nice and clear with a northeasterly wind and quiet, then we made a kolf club to play kolf with, and thus make our limbs more loose, for which we sought every means. In December 1650, the settlers of Fort Orange near present-day Albany, New York played the first recorded round of kolf golf in America. The Dutch settlers played kolf year-round. During the spring, summer, and fall it was played in fields. In the winter it was played on ice with the same rules. Then on December 10, 1659, the ruler passed an ordinance against playing golf in the streets of the same city. On a Monday in December of 1650, a party of men came to a Stephen Jansch house with attached tavern to drink after having played a round of kolf for brandy. Sometime during the drinking session, Toynes Jansch Salemaker accused Stephen Jansch's wife Maria, tavern keeper, of having wiped out 2 strokes at once, although she had tapped poured to roamers green wine glasses of brandy. Apparently, the losers of the match were required to pay the wager to Maria upon arrival at the tavern. She then recorded the amount with chalk on a piece of slate as credit toward the brandy to be consumed by the winners. Each stroke on the slate probably represented to roamers of brandy, or a round for the 2 men on the winning team. Eventually, the two of the men Philip Peter Schleidmacher and Stephen Jansch began fighting. The two other players, which included Gijsbert Cornelis, joined. Gijsbert and Stephen ended up killing each other over the accusations but managed to apologize to each other before dying. December 10, 1659, the W Commissary and commissaries of Fort Orange and village of Beverwyck, today's city of Albany, having heard divers complaints from the burghers of this place against playing at golf along the streets, which causes great damage to the windows of the houses and exposes people to the danger of being wounded and is contrary to the freedom of the public streets. Therefore, their worships, wishing to prevent the same, forbid all persons playing golf in the streets on pain of forfeiting FL 25 guilders for each person who shall be found doing so.